Hey, all right. Tonight we're going to be doing a stat breakdown on a Pokemon that honestly I don't think deserves or doesn't really get a lot of the credit it deserves. It's going to be Gallade. It's stylish, it's sharp, it's secretly tanky. It's kind of hard to get to that evolution sometimes, but it looks like Professor Krabby's already pulled that infographic that we're going to use today. So let's take a look and see if Gallade's really the threat we think it is, or just another stat spread with a cool hat. So Gallade has a base stat total of about 518. I think my math is correct on that one, which sounds pretty average until you zoom in on the details. I'm talking like HP, attack, defense, special defense, and speed, those base stats. Now, 125 attack is no joke. That puts Gallade above Gardevoir, Metachamp, and even Lucario, which is kind of surprising since you've seen they're all hands. Only a few specific psychic types, though, hit harder. And that 115 special defense, now could be now sneaky good. So it's not really that bulky overall, but it can absolutely tank special hits better than you actually think. Okay, so out of all the stats that we're talking about, I think it's important that we focus on speed. Now, why speed? Gallade's sitting at about an 80, which is fine. There's definitely a lot more Pokemon that are faster than Gallade, even though it's got legs. It's not bad. It's not great. It's enough to outspeed some walls, but not enough to sweep without help. When you compare it to Lucario's 90 or Gardevoir's 80, which is makes sense. They're both the sides of the evolution, about the same speed. As well, it's pretty balanced, but it still loses out on its attack to like Caesar's 130 and speed to Metachance 80, which is also tied with it. So then again, if you just look at those base stats one more time, that attack and special defense blow out all the other stats, but speed is peaking over just a little bit if we want to really start comparing them. Now, it's not Pokemon and stats if we don't look at their typing. Yes, they can have strong speed. Yes, they can have a great defense or attack, special defense. But if a water's going up against a fire or electric's going up against the ground, it's going to be a completely different game. So, psychic and fighting typically is pretty rare. It's not one of the more common types like a flying type mixed with or another water type mixed with. It's kind of more of a spicy type. Gallade resists rock and fighting, which is great, but it's got those very common weaknesses like ghost, flying, and fairy. But I mean, look at the strengths that it has. That's the most I've seen for a lot of different Pokemon. We got dark, rock, poison, fighting, normal, fairy, and steel. It's a menace nonetheless if you're going up against one of these types, but it's not a Pokemon that you just throw out blindly. But in the right matchup, it's gonna delete some stuff. Like I mentioned before, look at all those different typings. It's if you know what you're going up against, and Gallade is on your team, you can easily have a win-win really quick. Okay, but let's look at the evolutions as well because Gallade's got an interesting, a little more also unique one compared to a lot of different other evolutions, considering the male to female as well as the stone. So Gallade evolves from a male Corellia with a Dawn Stone. So if you're running a routes, you've got to plan ahead. As soon as you get a female routes, Gallade is out of the question. Now, Mega Gallade, we can't forget, used to be a beast, faster, stronger, and somehow even cooler. But he got left behind in Gen 9. So let's take a moment of silence for that one. Anyway, even without the mega form, Gallade still brings great value, especially in formats where type coverage and special bulk matter. Again, focusing back on those typings, it can really decimate a lot of different kind of Pokemon depending on what you're going against. But like you mentioned, if you get that flying, ghost, those kind of type coverages against Gallade, and use that defense stat where it's a much lower, like lower one, it's going to be a challenge for that next battle. So at the end of the day, is Gallade just a mid tier Pokemon with a cooler design or an underrated powerhouse? That's the beauty of Pokemon. Everyone can think that Pokemon is special. That one's powerful. All you need the right moves. It can be a dangerous kind of Pokemon. Oh, if you give it some trash moves, of course, it's not going to do well. We're here to look at the stats. But if you want to check out that full infographic that we used throughout this entire video, that link is in the description. We're making them all the time for these videos. I hope you like this, subscribe, and come back for more stat breakdowns with me and the one and the only, of course, Professor Krabby. But then again, thanks again for tuning in, and hopefully I see you on the next one. All right.